of Solomon 7, verse 24 is my favorite chapter. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 24. Regarding the breath of life or the spirit of life that entered into us that's causing us gradually to live. Because as the word spreads, we're coming to life out of those graves. The graves is not just America. The graves is wherever Israel scattered, that's the grave that they're in, the captivity that they're in. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 24.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 24.
And notice wherever our people are located, you'll find primarily three religions. I'll say two. You'll find Christianity, which encompasses Catholicism, same thing, Baptists, and you'll find Islam. Wherever our people are found, you will find those dominant religions that they're either in or forced upon them. Wherever we are, whether it be in Africa, whether it be in this side of the world, whether it be in the Philippines, you'll always find, in Haiti, Jamaica, you'll always find our people in some form of a denomination, a Christian, Catholic, it's all the same thing, a Christianity denomination. Always. That's the graves. Keep us in the graves. Because when you think about it, you examine the Christianity cults, all right, you examine them. Whenever they come at us, they always ask, they always say, you're not the Israelites, you're not the Israelites. Okay, and we ask the following question, we retort, what are we? Then there's never an answer. It's just, doesn't matter what you are. You're a child of God. Which one? They never give an answer because they do not want you to know. Because you knowing matters. That's why they push the thought of it doesn't matter. Because they know it matters. They say Christ doesn't matter what color Christ is. It does matter. That's why they say it doesn't matter. Whenever Esau says something doesn't matter, be mindful because it does. Most likely when he says it doesn't matter, most likely it does matter. But it affects him. If you find out how much it does matter, it'll affect him. Read again.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion.
Wisdom is more moving than any motion. Go ahead.
She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
Go ahead.
For she is the breath of the power of God.
Wisdom is what?
For she is the breath of the power of God.
Wisdom is God's laws, and she is the breath of the power of God. That's what wisdom is. That's what the laws of God are. She is the breath of the power of God. Go ahead.
And the pure influence.
And what is she?
And a pure influence.
That's the difference between the Israelite movement and all the others before it. She is a pure influence. When you examine Martin Luther King's movement, it was not a pure influence. It was an assimilating influence. It was an integrational influence, which was not beneficial to us at all. At all. That's why Esau saw as a threat, only because it brought us together. Because he saw things carnal. Or if they gather together, I'm going to get that later. I'm going to jump ahead. But Esau started is if they come together with realize a common enemy, we're in danger. They don't look at it. They don't look at the doctrine as a threat. They look at the numbers and the gathering together as a threat. That's his thought. That's what the Egyptians said. There's too many of them. They might rise up against us. Let's deal wisely with them. That was their thought. Egyptians thought carnal also. We see things on a spiritual level. And the elite of the Edomites also see it that way as well.
Right. They knew that Dr. Martin Luther King philosophy was not the program that was going to resurrect us, but they're saying that he's got the charisma to bring them into the conduit that may bring them and wake them up. So let me get rid of that before too many of them start to, if too many of us even start to organize among ourselves, they say, even though they haven't woken up yet, that little bit of organization might lead into them waking up. So me as an enemy, thinking ahead, say, you know what, I need to cut that off at the root before it even gets started. That's when he started drafting a lot of our people to send them into Vietnam. There was a lot of things going on during that time. Y'all need to go back and look at some of that history. 60s, yep. Then our brothers that went over to Vietnam, got hooked on heroin, came back, jacked up. And instant dope dealers were made. All that went down. That's the reason why the drugs are so crazy now. But it came primarily in that system, during that situation. Go ahead, Deacon.
So, read again.
Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 25. For she is the breath of the power of God and a pure influence.
And a pure influence. MLK. That was integration of assimilation. Hellenism. Modern Hellenism. That was not pure influence. And you had, of course, Malcolm X. Now, MLK, of course, he acknowledged toward the end I made a mistake. I realized I've integrated my people into a burning house. I made a mistake. And they said, oh, kill him now. This guy, that's it. That was their fear. They knew he may turn around and go, he made a mistake. Take him out. That's what they thought. They knew, they saw in the long run he might change his mind. And he did before he got put to death. Malcolm X also, he said, you're the valley of dry bones. He did a speech, you're the valley of dry bones, Ezekiel 37. He quoted it. And in his Bible in the Harlem Museum, the Schomburg Museum, he has Psalms 83 highlighted, and it says Negroes under the verse.
You guys
I looked at it myself.
They didn't hear you, Deacon. They didn't hear you.
In the Schomburg Museum in Harlem,
there was a glitch in the
they have
system.
Malcolm X's Bible. His Quran is real small, and his Bible is huge. And he has Psalms 83 highlighted, and he has Negroes written. When it says, cut them off being a nation, he has Negroes written under there, right under the verse. So he knew who we were. But Islam was so prominent and large at the time, he said, nah, I'm going to go where there's more of them. It's more appealing, it's more alluring. I'll go over that. And I heard, rumor is that he learned from Israel, that he was Israel. He learned from them. Mm-hmm. But he said, well, even though that sounds good, these guys are more attractive in terms of the numbers, and it's more alluring, so I'm going to go with the popularity. I'm going to go with them. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think they heard you. That's why I said for you to repeat it again. Malcolm X's Bible, like the deacon is bringing out in the Schomburg Library. That's where you saw that, right?
Yep.
And Psalms 83. Y'all know what it says in Psalms 83, right? Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And underneath that passage, he says, Negroes. Mm-hmm. Okay, I told you they didn't hear it. Y'all got to let that butter get in those cornrows. Let it get down in that head. All right, go ahead, Deacon.
Read again, 25 again.
For she is the breath of the power of God and a pure influence.
Christianity. It's not a pure. Black Panther movement. They were more about militants. I think it was Karl Marx. He was into Karl Marx. And The Art of War. What's his book? The guy wrote that book, Art of War. Sang Tzu. He felt that religion was not for us. He said, that's not for us. We're not going to deal with that. We're going to deal militarily. We feel that's more effective. That was Huey Newton's stepping stone, or his ideal was religion's not for us, the Bible's not for us, it's been enslaved us. That was his thought process. So we should deal more militarily, economically, in terms of like helping the people with food and programs to help the people. And that was good. It was all good. But what was missing from it was the breath. The breath was missing. The flesh was there. Unity was there, but the breath was missing. And so the crack introduced. The infiltrations, the provocateurs are introduced. The informants are introduced. The crack was introduced. The jail time was introduced. Reaganomics and all that. And you
policies in the jail started changing.
Started rising up. So all of that stuff was used to neutralize, isolate, and turn them against each other. They would create false beefs among them, divide them, and so forth. So that was easily disbanded. Not easily, but it took time. It was disbanded. It was removed. All right. Then you had Young Lords. Young Lords came about. Now, Young Lords want to be called Brown Panthers. But the Black Panthers said, don't call yourself, don't call yourself that. Remember, they were still divided against each other. They said, no, don't call yourself no damn Brown Panthers. Young Lords is good for you. Keep the Young Lords. You ain't us. That was their thought process. You know, at the time, even at that time, we were still divided. But the Young Lords still were inspired by the Panthers. They came like a year later. And they came like a year later. And they were like, listen, okay, fine, we're Young Lords, but we're going to follow that pattern. Then the Chicano movement came about, Issachar came around, Mexicans came, the Brown Berets came, inspired by the Panthers as well as the Young Lords, or they're on the same time, I believe, when Young Lords were the same time, I think, or whatever. At the same time, and they were also inspired the same way. AIM, same thing. So Judah, pretty much, and Benjamin, because it was Bobby Seale, he's Benjamin, and Huey P. Newton is Judah. Those two were like the forerunners of this revolution, Black Revolution, the rising, SNCC, all of that, Stokely Carmichael, Fred Hampton, all of them part of that. All of them rose up and began a revolution that pretty much caused a wave that rippled through all the kingdom, Northern Kingdom as well, Hispanics as well, all right, inspiring them. And that was a problem, all right? Read again, 25.
For she is the breath of the power of God and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
Christianity doesn't flow from God. It is not a pure influence, because Christianity tells you, come as you are and stay as you are. That's not a pure influence. Law's done away with. That's not a pure influence. Read on. Well,
when it says pure influence, somebody tell me what that means. Pure influence. Because this is what the apologetics are worried about. They're saying, what is it about Israel that these brothers and sisters are taking on to that Bible and we can't crack them? We can't bring them back.
Shalom, leadership, Brother Matthias. It means that they don't have the laws. They don't have the Bible. They don't know the commandments. The pure influence is the laws of God.
Right. The pure influence is the laws of God. And it also means that anything else pertaining to the Bible means it's vain. Meaning that the Bible is really about what you just said. When they try to use it in Christianity, it's not pure. When they try to use it in Baptists and these other kinds of things, it's not pure. The only way the Bible functions and it's pure when it's in its rightful hands. That's why I said that before. When it's in its rightful hands, when the correct doctrine is being taught, that's when it's going to have the maximum effect. That's when the Bible's going to come alive. That's when it becomes tangible to our existence. All right, Deacon, that's it.
When you mention them, the Christianity cults, when you mention them, they believe it's okay to celebrate New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I've heard them say it. They advocate, yeah, you could do it. Let no man judge you in meat or in drink or a holy day. I'm like, what? That's not what Paul is talking about, Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's not what he's talking about, but I've heard them say it. Then when you say, according to the Bible, is America doomed? Is America doomed? No, that's your interpretation. America isn't going anywhere. When you think that, it's not a pure influence. Because Christianity supports America. It supports America. If you ask any person in Christianity, is America doomed according to the Bible? They will tell you no. Judge not lest ye be judged. I've seen it. That's how you know it's not pure influence. Now, all the things America has done from her past to her present, has she not violated every single law of God? Within the past, 300 years she's been around? She's violated every single law, the 10 Commandments, whatever you Christians want to subscribe to. America has violated them all. Other gods before me, violating the Sabbath, stealing people, coveting land don't belong to them, lying, adultery, advocating adultery, pushing homosexuality. But America is, no, America's just fine. Christianity is not a pure influence. And Christianity is the root of democracy. It's the same thing. It's no different. It's the same exact thing. Read on from pure influence.
For she is the breath of the power of God and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her.
That's how you know it in Christianity. Therefore can no defiled thing. You can eat pork now. Just pray over it. No defiled thing can fall into it. You can celebrate Thanksgiving. No defiled thing can fall into it. Celebrate birthdays. No defiled thing. Wedding rings. No defiled thing. New Year's. No defiled thing. Christmas, Thanksgiving, politics. No defiled thing. Homosexuality. No defiled thing can fall into her. She does not have any part with those things. But Christianity does. Next verse.
Verse 26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of God, and the image of his goodness.
Next verse.
And being but one, she can do all things. And remaining in herself, she maketh all things new.
What does she do?
She maketh all things new.
Born again. Quicken. Born again. Go ahead.
And in all ages entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of God and prophets.
Go back to verse 24 again.
Verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion.
So wisdom is a movement in itself that cannot be stopped. That's the problem. They feel they can try to come against us and try to stop us. They cannot stop it. It's more moving than any motion. The Panthers was a movement, it fell. Islam, at one point in time, Malcolm was a movement, it fell. Snake fell. Those are all movements. But the scriptures say that wisdom is more moving than any motion. Meaning it cannot be stopped. You can put crack in it, it ain't going to work. Homosexuality in there, it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. Because no defiled thing can fall into it at all. Right. Jump down to verse 27 again, the bottom of it, maketh all things new.
Verse 27. She
maketh
all things new, and in all ages entering into holy souls.
She enters into holy souls. Go ahead. Not wicked souls, unlawful souls, holy souls. Go ahead.
She maketh them friends of God and prophets.
That's what wisdom does. Wisdom is God's law. She makes wisdom, the laws of God make you friends of God and prophets. Not no laws of God make you laws of prophets. You can't be a prophet of God without God's laws. That don't make no sense.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.